Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Financial Survival Network is presented to you by Regal Assets. Buy and sell physical gold and silver through your existing retirement plan, 100% tax-free with Regal Assets. If you want to include physical gold or silver in your existing IRA or old 401k, request your free investment kit, which was recently featured in the Forbes and Smart Money Wall Street Journal magazines. Call toll-free 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620, or visit regalassets.com. There's a lot of controversy as far as whether central banking can continue on in its present state or whether the system is going to have to be ripped down and rebuilt from scratch. And Darryl Schoon, who has been writing on these topics extensively for years, has got some thoughts on it. Hey, Darryl, welcome back to financialsurvivalnetwork.com.
Hi, Kerry. Thanks for having me again.
Always a pleasure. You know that. So where are these central banks now? Can they possibly continue on just spinning new money up at the whim, just to hit the keyboard, add $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there, or what's going to happen?
Well, my story for a long time has been, Kerry, is that we're here at the end of a system, all right? And we're like people who've grown up in this, and we think it's normal. We think that expansion and contraction is normal. We think ups and downs are normal. We think that's normal. Why? Because we've grown up in it, all right? But the truth is, central banking is a little over 300 years old, all right? I gave a talk in Munich at the New School of Austrian Economics in late March. And there I said that central banking needed three things to keep going. One, it needed confidence in the paper money. All right. Without confidence in paper money, they couldn't issue their paper money. Two, they needed to constantly expand. And the reason they needed to constantly expand is that central banking is a system whereby bankers make money by indebting everybody. The very issuance of money is based on debt. The interest rate, everybody watches. What are the central banks issuing money at the rate of? That's debt. All right. When paper money first appeared in China, it didn't come out of a central bank. The Chinese just printed it to spend money they didn't have.
Flying money, as they called it, because it flew out of your hands.
Absolutely.
And no sooner did you get it, and Marco Polo thought this was a brilliant innovation till he discovered hyperinflation.
Well, when the Chinese found out, it brought down 5 dynasties over 600 years. All right. But when it came to England, the bankers were a lot smarter about it. They realized you had to really finesse this, that it was an inherently unstable system. All right. It was basically a confidence game. And so they didn't replace gold and silver with paper money right away. They just issued it alongside gold and silver. And Gresham's law, bad money drives out good, absolutely took the prize again, because after a while people just wouldn't spend their gold and silver coins. They spent the paper. That's why coins, gold and silver coins, are now sold by coin shops at high multiples of what they were issued at, because you're not going to use that to buy goods. You're going to use that crap ass paper coupons that the bankers do.
The green stamps. I call them green stamps.
They're coupons.
Yeah.
I have always said paper money is a coupon with an expiration date written on it in invisible ink.
Yeah, green stamps. Like you used to save them up. You'd get them at the supermarket.
Yes.
You'd go buy a toaster, with 18 million of them, and that's what it's going to be like with dollars soon. To buy a toaster, you'll need a wheelbarrow full of them.
Absolutely. We're headed there. Now, the thing is, all systems have beginning and ends, all right? And we are at the end of the capitalist banker system of fiat money, all right? And people have made a mistake by thinking capitalism is about free markets. It's not true. There were free markets far before the English bankers issued their fiat bank. They weren't fiat in the beginning. They were backed by gold and silver, allegedly so, All right. They never had enough gold or silver to back 100% because if they did, why have paper money? And let me assure you, it wasn't for convenience. It wasn't for the convenience of people who had to go down to the store and it was easier to have pieces of paper than coin. It was because the bankers could charge interest on the paper banknotes as if they were gold and silver.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Before, the bankers could only charge interest on the gold and silver. And then they came out and they figured out a way to where they could charge interest on paper money itself. Eventually, paper money has driven out gold and silver out of the market, and eventually, as a result of that, on a credit-based, debt-based system of economics, everybody's indebted. The bankers have succeeded beyond their capacity. It's sort of like a parasite who's covered the body of the host to such a degree that the host is going to die. But tell that to the parasites who are sucking the blood out. You can't. They're too busy sucking the blood or looking for a better spot to go in.
Yeah.
So the parasites don't care. And not only don't they care, they don't know another way to make money, especially one that has been as good to them as this. So you're not going to get any attempt to change from the inside the system. That's the point I want to make here today.
It's impossible.
It's impossible because their self-interest is not into making things better. Their self-interest is involved and totally invested in keeping the present system afloat. What they're afraid of, and deathly afraid of, is that the time is running out. And it is. Now, Antal Fekete, Professor Fekete, I've known him for a long time. He's a dear friend. He's brilliant, all right? Mm-hmm. And he has such a mega view of the markets and money itself and things like this. But he said something a few years ago in Dallas. I was sitting next to him at a conference, and somebody asked him a question about when the price of gold is going to go up. And the professor looked at this person, and he said, you know what? That's going to be the saddest day in the world. And what he meant was this. He said, when gold skyrockets, it's going to be the day the system collapses. All right? Now,
and silver, too. And silver, too.
Gold and silver, precious metals, okay? I, for one, want whatever gold and silver I have to go up, all right? But I also view it with trepidation because when it does, it's going to be end of the present system. And the collapse of this system is going to be consequential, Kerry. It's going to be consequential for the people we know. It's going to be consequential for the people that we don't know. But it is going to explode, all right? It is rare that you get an investment that is both a conservative. You can't get anything more conservative than gold or silver physical. You can't. I mean, people say you get no interest off it. That's because there's no risk. Interest is the vig that you pay for risk. All right? I mean, if you are going to loan your money to your uncle who's been in business for years and you consider it a privilege that he came to you for a loan because he needs, he's not going to give you much interest. Why? Because he's good as gold. All right? But if your cousin, Freddie, came to you for a loan and the guy's been a deadbeat, all right? If you actually think that this time that he can pay you back because he's got a story that that an estate is clearing, and you knew his mother did die, and you know this, and you know the lawyer, and you're going to make sure it's going to be recorded that you're going to pay it off, you will loan money to Freddie, but you're going to charge him an arm and a leg because you're afraid of losing yours. All right?
Sure.
This is not the way you're going to deal with your uncle, who's as good as gold. Now, gold is even more than that. Gold is the extinguisher of debt. That's why there's no interest in it. That's why it is the most conservative investment in the world and has always been, because it's not an investment, except today it is. And it's an investment only because the bankers have taken gold off the table as money, taken silver off the table as money, and substituted their paper banknotes. Now, when their empire of paper banknotes collapses, and it is going to, and we are in the final days of their empire, gold and silver is going to explode because of what the bankers have done to gold and silver. They have marginalized it, but they have not been able to make it go away. And the more they've marginalized it, the more it becomes your only investment in the day when the roof falls in. The roof is not just going to fall in. The foundation's going to give away. Everybody says, oh, yeah, the roof's going to cave in. Hey, Let me assure you, Carrie, it's not the roof people should be cared about. It's the floor. It's the foundation. This is where we are today. And the reason why people don't get this, it's never happened in their lifetime. We have, how can you have a memory longer than your lifetime? You can't.
Read history. You have to read history, right?
Yeah. That's the Depression is the closest we have to it. And let me tell you, this is going to be worse than the Depression, because during the Depression, they did not have a monetary crisis. They had a collapse in demand caused by the collapse of credit-based bubble demand. And then when that collapsed, the collapse in demand was so great, it just brought the machinery of credit and debt to a halt. This time, we're going to have the same thing, except there's more credit and debt on the table, and this time, we're going to have a monetary crisis to boot.
No doubt. And it's going to be, nobody knows when it's going to happen exactly.
Nobody knows.
We can all envision how catastrophic it's going to be.
I don't like to think about it.
Yeah, me neither.
It hampers my ability to enjoy to enjoy life. Because once you know about it, this is the deal. Once you have finally figured it out, what you do is this. Don't obsess over it, or you're going to be on medication. All right? You're going to need it.
Yeah, been there, done that, got the Prozac.
Absolutely. It is not going to serve you. What does serve you is the awareness that it is going to happen. So what you do, to the best of your knowledge, you rearrange your portfolio, you buy gold and silver, you set it aside, and then if it's a nice day, go outside. You really have to focus on living your lifestyle, even in the face of a financial catastrophe that is going to be beyond anything we have seen. Now, Carrie, unlike a lot of people, I believe that this is part of a cosmic process where one paradigm is ending and another paradigm is beginning. The English banking paradigm lasted from the 17th, 18th century till now. All right. Before then, you had the Age of Enlightenment. Before you had the Age of Enlightenment, you had the Renaissance. Before you had the Renaissance, you had the Feudal Age. So you have successive eras, each one building on the other era. I am a believer that this process that we're in, there's meaning to it. It is moving forward and is getting better. But you and I and the rest of us at this time have happened upon the process at a very dicey time.
Right.
It's like we're there when the snake sheds its skin. We're there when the moth morphs into a butterfly, and we are afraid of being the skin that's left behind. Are we going to be the butterfly? And we're a moth right now. We can't even imagine what it's like to be a butterfly. So when the moth is confronted with change, if it actually thought about it, and thank God moths can't think about it, or they'd have nervous breakdowns before they became butterflies. All right? Yeah. Is that this is where we are. This is where we are. This is huge. This is bigger than anything we thought. I think the people who are into gold and silver have, at the minimum, an understanding that the financial structure of this world, of their world, of the whole world, in fact, is at risk. The only country on this planet, basically, that is not heavily indebted is China. And instead of being heavily indebted, their assets are valued in the IOUs of other countries. So they're no better off than we are. Is it better to be?
One other country, Australia, is not too heavily indebted.
No,
it's about
but
10,000 a person.
Yes, but they got a huge property bubble.
Yeah, that is true.
Huge property bubble. All right. We're all living in different parts of this. Now, Carrie, you're back there. I'm here. If you were living in Spain right now, or if I was living in Greece,
I'd be drinking a lot of Rioja if I was in Spain. I'll tell you, I'd never stop.
We would, because we would be in dire straits. All right. Now, my point is this. We are all in the same boat. Okay. The boat's got a hole in it. Even the 1%, they're sitting at the top edge of the boat, and they're looking at us and the other ones, and they're feeling a little smug.
Yeah.
Because they're elevated. But the truth is, they're only sitting in the prow of the boat, and the rest is sinking. But hey, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
And if you're in the 1%, I will assure you, most of your assets are in paper, because that's where you made your money.
They have to be, because only 1 to 2% of the world's wealth is held in precious metals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the thing is this: gold. My byline has always been, Kerry, buy gold, buy silver, have faith. All right, and I mean that. And you need all three. It's really funny. I'm a gold guy. All right, and I say in my book, all right, that it's purely only bias, personal bias. Gold is not necessarily going to be any better than silver. We don't know. Both are going to rise. All right. And I know certain people think silver's. I know all the reasons. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going to pick according to they are. But as long as you're into either gold or silver, as long as you understand that these times are unlike any other. All right. And then once you've put that aside, once you've dealt with it, once you have come to grips with it, then live life. All right? Because we are here at a momentous time. We are here at the dawn of a new era that we can't see because the old era's got to pass away before the dawn. This is the first time, Kerry, on the face of the earth that every country in the world's been on fiat money. Antal, Professor Fekete would say, at least when one country would have a currency crisis, there were other countries around that were stable that could bail them out or at least help them. Now it's gone. No one is stable. No one has a viable currency. We are living in historic times. All right? This is what people don't understand. It is not like yesterday, and tomorrow won't be like tomorrow, and today has never been like any other day in the history of our planet.
It's not your grandfather's Great Depression.
No, it isn't. And that was bad enough.
Yeah. Oh, man, I hear the stories,
Oh, yeah. My father never... I don't know if I can blame all my fathers.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
But I know where the roots came from.
But because it was so devastating to my father, it's in my DNA to expect a collapse.
Kerry, we were in that way, we were fortunate. Because we're old enough to have some sort of connection with that era. There are kids today who grew up in a world greased on credit. Yeah. And they can't understand it. And, it's beyond their understanding. It truly is. We can rail at them. We can call them stupid. We can call them the herd. We can call them the sheep. We can call them whatever they want. But it's just merely the consequence of time and space. Mm-hmm. It really is. Yeah. It's like religion. I tell you, if I was born in Somalia, or if I was born in Iran, I would be a Muslim. The only question is whether I'd be a Sunni or a blah, 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 or I'd be an atheist, or I'd be whatever, or I'd be a rebellion listening to rock and roll on the radio, and my parents are trying to kill me, for my apathy, okay? If I was born in the Deep South, I'd be a Southern Baptist.
Or a slave owner if it was the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in this thing all together, and I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what gen you are. This economic crisis is all-encompassing, and it's going to change each one of us. It's going to change our world, and there's not a lot you can do because, we're going down a river that's already headed in the channels that the river is going in, all right? But once you've got gold and silver, once you've got that, then at least you can put that aside and go live your life. And until then, you're at risk at a level you don't know you're at risk. But, I sort of think it's sort of destiny that we end up seeing the light that we do. Because I don't know why I started thinking about it. I don't know why you started thinking about it. But I do know that we didn't think this way before we started thinking about it.
That's for sure. No question. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that previous state of ours is the normal state of 99.9% of the people around. And they look at us as crazy. We look at ourselves as lucky. Yeah. And
that's
so
it.
be it.
All right. Well, Darryl, we got to get going now, but thanks for being on. And to some extent, you're preaching to the choir, but there's one thing that's happening. The choir's getting larger and larger.
It is.
And that's the key.
Kerry, I thank you for having me on your program, and it's a relief to talk to the choir sometimes.
Hey, and finding out about you is as simple as going to
DrSchoon.com. It used to be by subscription only, all right?
But you've opened up.
And now I've opened it up. So www.drschon.com. It stands for Darryl Robert, not for doctor. And now it's all there.
All right. And I'm a regular reader myself. And one thing I have to say about your material, it's always extremely well researched, thought out, and written, which is always a pleasure on the internet because there's so much garbage. Forget about it, whether it's true or not. At least put a comma where it belongs. Use periods, proper upper and lower case, and no BFF for life. Man, write like somebody, like it's important and somebody should read it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Carrie, you're old school.
I guess. That's what my kids tell me anyway. So, all right, Darryl. Talk to you again soon, and you be well.
You too.